What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're gonna check out the Triple Crown 50 from Mesa. Let's do it. Literally just made that up. Hope it wasn't terrible. Hope you guys are doing great out there today. This is actually the first time that I have plugged this amp in since I bought it. I have not played through this amp. A lot of people were asking me, how does the TC50 compare to the Badlander 50 that I got? It was one of the first amps that I really demoed and went in depth on my channel. And I made it kind of my mission to get a TC50 as fast as I could. Well, I got one, and then I never did anything with it. I really kind of just wanted to vary the amount of amps that were on my channel and not stick to a select group. So I kind of put some breathing room in there because I wanted to eventually bring the Badlander back and shoot it out against this amp, but I didn't want it to be on top of all of the other videos of the Badlander that I had just released. So anyways, that's why it took me so long to get around to doing the demo on this amp. This is truthfully the first time I've set it up and tried to dial in anything. I was able to get a really good usable tone within probably 45 seconds. It did not take me very long at all. We are currently on the lead channel or the high gain channel. There is a low gain channel and there's a clean channel. I'm not even going to touch a clean channel because you guys know I'm a belligerent amateur musician and that is what I do here. Or my name isn't Thrash Damon. So anyways, real quick before we jump into this amp, if this is your first time here at my channel and you're not getting the inside jokes, I apologize. But what I do here is I play through sick high gain amps in E standard and drop D for the most part. And also check out very cool overdrive and distortion pedals and pickups such as this. This is the Voodoo Custom Pickups Oculus. Thanks to my man Rich for sending me out this pickup to try. So anyways, if you're into stuff like that, I would really appreciate it after this video. If you like the video, hit the like button on your way out and consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss the next video like this. We're going to go over to the low gain channel. We're going to put everything at noon because that's what I do. And we're going to pull that gain down to 9 o'clock. Of course, I had my Deadwell Duality DX on like I do in the beginning of pretty much every video because this pedal does great in front of every amp I throw it in front of. I'm still in drop D. All right, so that's what we got with the clean channel. Let's bump that volume a little bit. And it's not the clean channel, it's a low gain channel. I'm already screwing this video up left and right. So as you can tell, this channel is capable of clean tones. If I roll my volume back, it cleans up, but it also thins it out substantially. So I don't think you're gonna be able to work the dynamics super well on this one, but I could be wrong on that. Let's get that the gain up to noon. All right, so it sounds good. It's just still very low gain. Let's crank that gain up to 3 o'clock. As of right now, it's a pretty good crunch style tone, I would say. It's a little bit, with everything at noon, it's kind of bland sounding. So, and it has that Mesa signature low mid kind of bubble, I would call it. Mesas just always seem to have this like bump in the low mids that make them sound a little bit woofy and a little bit congested, just my opinion. Let's bump the mids up and the treble up. That sounds pretty good. There is a normal and tight switch for the bass on each of the gain channels, and apparently on the clean channel. Didn't know that. So let's put it in tight mode. That sounds pretty damn good. That tight switch really thins it out, so let's add some bass. Ah, it's still really thin. Let's pull that treble back. No copyright strikes. All right, so as you can tell, the gain really fattens this channel up quite a bit. It really adds a lot of the thickness that it seems to need. When you pull that gain back and try to use it as like a crunch channel, it kind of seems like it thins it out too much and makes it sound really thin and a little bit too bright. We got the gain dialed back up to 3 o'clock. It's thickened up quite a bit now. Let's pull that treble back up. That sounds really good. That's no boost either. That's that's pretty impressive. Let's get some more presence, a little less bass. Guys, without a boost, I could use that tone all day long in Bushido code. Sounds great. Still has kind of that low mid congestion that Mesas are known for. When I got this amp, was a little bit surprised when I had Jason plug into it and use it for band practice for a few songs. I was surprised at how low mid focused it was. It had a lot more low mid focus than I thought it would. I think the lineage of this amp was the Royal Atlantic came before this one and was kind of short-lived. And before the Royal Atlantic was a stiletto. Now, I have a stiletto. I have a video on my stiletto. The stiletto very much is a modded Marshall. It doesn't have a whole lot of Mesa DNA in it. It definitely doesn't have that low mid bump in it. There's some slight tweaks to the voicing that make it sound a little bit more American, but still, I was expecting a lot more of the stiletto in this amp, and it's kind of a completely different thing. It's definitely, I thought it was gonna be very British sounding. To me, it is not at all. So yeah, you can hear it. It's definitely got that Mesa thing going on. I like it. I think it sounds pretty good, actually. I'm having fun. All right, so that is that channel. Let's scoop the mids out. See how it sounds with the mids scooped down a little bit. Honestly, a lot of amps kind of lose their life, like lose the liveliness when you scoop the mids out, in my opinion. It kind of tames a lot of that brightness and makes the amp sound hollow. This amp Sounds just fine with the mid scooped out. It's not a tone I would go for particularly, but it doesn't seem to remove all the liveliness from the amp. You can get away with pulling them out. Let's go back up. Like the mid pod actually operates on a pretty narrow frequency band, so that's probably part of why it's like that. Let's turn on the dead weld again. All right, so we're on the tube screamer side. I'm gonna pull the treble back because I know that it's gonna be. That's fun. All right, that sounds really good. A little bit less treble maybe, a little bit more bass. We still have the tight switch on here and a little bit less gain. It's got a decent amount of low end. It could use a little more in my opinion, but it sounds pretty good as sounds really good. I'm enjoying it for sure. Let's turn the mids up a little bit. All right, so the mids up kind of, the mids take over the tone a little bit and it kind of tends to thin it out. So this is one of the few amps where I would prefer the mids down a little bit with the boost. That sounds really, really good though, honestly. All right, so before I get carried away, I'm already running out of time here. I want to try, if you guys aren't familiar with the Deadwell Duality DX, it has a TC integrated preamp side and a modded tube screamer side. We're going over to the TC integrated preamp side to see how that really mean, really mean. Let's get a little bit more mid and a little bit less treble on the amp. Having a lot of fun here. Let's get a little more bass and a little bit less treble on this TC side. Maybe a little less output too. And a little less gain. I don't know what I'm playing. Sounds really good though. All right, that sounds fantastic. I'm getting carried away. Let's go over to the red channel. Put everything at noon. Put the gain at 9 o'clock. Tight switch is off. It's on normal setting right now. All right, so let's turn the gain up. This one seems like it's a little bit more saturated, but not by a whole lot. So, a good bit fatter, it seems more compressed, not that surprising, obviously more gain. Seems pretty thick over here, so let's kick that tight switch on again and see what kind of a difference. Pretty noisy too. Let's dial that gain back a little bit. Let's dial the bass up. All right, dial that treble back too, because I feel like that's kind of thinning things out, and dial the presence up. Need a little bit more gain. Sounds pretty good. Let's scoop some mids out. I feel like the lead channel or the high gain channel is obviously meant for leads. It's definitely a lot more saturated, a lot more compressed, a lot more noisy, unfortunately, but it's meant for leads. It's a thicker sounding channel overall, so I'm thinking like some drop D riffs would sound cool here if you're trying to do the rhythm thing on the high gain channel. Not bad, still kind of not really my thing. Let's kick that normal on and go back over to the deadwell. Instantly that sounds better to me. Let's get that bass up a little bit more, mids up a little more, and treble down. Pull that gain back. In my experience, Mesas just take boosts so well. I don't know what it is, but it just transforms every Mesa. I recently did the mini rectifier demo, and the boost in front of the amp took it from completely uninspiring for me on the modern or the red channel to an amp that I loved. You know, a lot of guys hate boosts. I don't really give a shit. I love them. I use them. Some amps don't need them, but for my personal taste, I tend to enjoy them more than I don't. So it's working really well on this amp right now. Let's try a different boost, because I always go to the dead weld. It just always sounds so damn good. Let's go to the Grid Slammer. So the Grid Slammer doesn't really add any mids. It's more of a cleaner boost than a Tube Screamer style boost. So let's see how different that sounds. Definitely thicker, fuller, kind of a little bit meaner, but it's not gonna cut in a mix as well. If you're going for a sludgier tone, or you hate the mid boost, a lot of guys hate the mid boost on TS9s, the Grid Slammer is a nice option. Let's go back to the dead weld. Let's compare the two channels real quick. All right, so that's your low gain channel. They sound pretty damn similar to me. Again, the low gain channel is a little bit more open, less compression. This one has a little bit more compression, slightly more low mid focus, but I'm actually kind of surprised at how similar they are. All right, guys, that is it. Those are the two gain channels on the Mesa TC50 or Triple Crown 50. This is the first time I've really spent time with this amp, and I can tell you it's gonna stick around. This thing sounds really, really good. Really enjoying it. It definitely has a lot of that Mesa voicing in there, but is much different than a rectifier. It's kind of got its own thing going on for sure. It's hard to compare it to anything really. So I'm definitely going to shoot this out with the Badlander 50 here soon. So stay tuned for that if that's something you're interested in. Again, if you guys liked this content, you want to see more stuff like this, please consider hitting that like button on your way out, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss anything. Check down in the links for all sorts of cool stuff like my Patreon, my Amazon affiliate links for all the gear that I use and some of my favorite guitar pedals, stuff like that, picks, strings. And also, I have a Facebook group, so if you guys want to join me over there, I have a group of people who view the channel and we all just chat about gear all day long. So check that down in the description. Appreciate you guys being here. Kyle here again, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye!